The doctors doesn't want me to read any more Edgar Allan Poe. They say it isn't healthy for me. I told them I like Edgar Allan Poe. I told them I might be Edgar Allan Poe. I mean, I'm not Edgar Allan Poe. He's dead. I know that. But I figured if anyone was gonna come back from the dead, it would be him. And I feel like Edgar Allan Poe. I mean, I think like Edgar Allan Poe. I had his thoughts. And the funny thing is, I really never thought much about Edgar Allan Poe until I got here. Oakbrook. They might as well call it Deciduous Aquatic Tranquility. And that's what it is, Oakbrook. It's nice though. I guess I like it here well enough. The excellent food, everything's taken care of for us. And then they tell us we are not normal if we decide we'd like to stay. Mistakes. We all make mistakes. Like Edgar Allan Poe once said, that which you mistake for madness is but an over-accurateness of the sense. It only takes a small mistake to make your health into a haunting of eternity. I Might Be Edgar Allan Poe by Dawson Nichols. A few weeks ago, I started sneaking into the library here and reading this book by Edgar Allan Poe. One new story every night. The Fall of the House of the Husher, The Mask of the Red Dead, The Black Cat, The Premature Burial, The Pit and the Pendulum. I was so familiar with each story, it was like reading my own diary. And I became more and more convinced that I was myself in some way Edgar Allan Poe. The doctor said it wasn't healthy for me to read Edgar Allan Poe. I asked them then, why did they have it at the library then? They removed it. They like to be in charge. And there's some things they want us to think about and others they don't. Like the fire. The doctor thinks that if I tell them about the fire, they have some sort of breakthrough. But that's not true. I mean, why should I? People don't like to dwell on painful things. You live your life, you move on. Why isn't that normal? I don't want to talk about the fire with them. They want to examine it, dissect it, make it devoid of meaning. Why can't I just leave it behind me? Isn't that normal? It's normal, right? Right? I was living in an apartment building and there was a loud explosion and fire. And then there was a fire alarm, and we all went outside and stood on a strip of grass across the street. It was actually quite pretty, the orange and yellow flames lighting up the sky. And you couldn't see the smoke very well because it was night. A woman came running outside of the building, and she was screaming that her child was still in the fire, and she tried to run back, but a man got in the way, so she ran across the street and started screaming that a real man will go in there and save her child. I looked at her, and she punched me in the face. A couple men put her off of me, but my lips were already bleeding, and I was wondering what she meant by that. And why shouldn't she choose me? So I went up the second floor and I started shouting and running door to door to see if anyone was in there. As I got towards the other end of the building, one door was open and there was a lot of smoke in there. But I thought I heard something, so I got down into my hands and knees and I crawled in. And then I found her. A wide-eyed little girl in a bathtub. She was clinging to a stuffed bear and all curled into a ball. So I carried her, took her down the hall to the stairs, but I guess the fire was in the first floor because the fire was coming up the stairs and I couldn't get back down. So, so I went up and then passed to the fourth floor and into the roof, and it was all very dark, and there was a lot of smoke everywhere, and the flames coming up all around, and people shouting below, and we had to jump, but she wouldn't jump. She was too scared, and my chest hurt inside out, and she was scratching me where I have been burned. But I wasn't angry at her. I wasn't angry. I was just scared. And they were screaming at us that we had to jump, but she wouldn't jump. So I had to pick her up, and I took her to the edge of the roof, and the building was making noises underneath us, and the fire was holding the circle for us to jump into, and she wouldn't jump. And so I kicked her in the forehead, and then threw her. But she was screaming too much. And the fireman tried to move underneath her, but it was too late. And her little body flipped over the edge and above the roar of the flames. And you could hear her little head, what her little head made when it hit the pavement. Why can't I just leave it behind me? Isn't that normal? To want to leave something like that behind me? Isn't that normal? I'm sorry. The drugs must be wearing off now. I have to go. I hope you find more than what you understand of my sense of humor now. Oh well, it doesn't matter. You're only the voices in my head. Well, don't tell them I told you so, but the doctors are so. Goodbye.